Those creatures we don't know very well are far more important than we think, such as coral reef. They are colorful and vibrant. They feed a large number of marine organisms. They silently defend the climate of the sea in huge quantities. But below sea level, they are experiencing hardship we don't know. That is coral bleaching. This phenomenon makes beautiful coral reefs no longer colorful, but stand in the ocean in pale color. What's more, it indicates the severity of the marine environment, the increase of water temperature, the decline of marine ecosystem, etc. Such destruction will also be a disaster for tropical marine fish and marine life that depend on coral reef for their livelihood and for gain. Therefore, it is very important to make people aware of this problem, especially those living in coastal areas. To solve this problem, the relevant authority will also need to pay attention to it. Coral reefs are made up of polyps, small colorless animals that have a sac-like body with a mouth-like opening and a crown of singing technical. A coral reef consists of many individual polyps, functioning together as one unit. Also, due to kind of electrical zooxanthellae, coral have beautiful colors. The two organisms coexist and depend on each other. As much as 90% of the nutrients that algae produce are transferred to their coral host, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. When coral are stressed by change in conditions such as temperature, light, or nutrients, they expel the symbolic algae living in their issue, causing them to turn completely white because of the deterioration of their living environment. Coral have to expel algae that coexist with themselves, thus reducing the pressure on survival. Unfortunately, even so, there are still
Hello, thank you for joining me today. My name is Solomon Jagon, and I'm going to be briefly speaking on the importance of coral bleaching. As we all know, as a human race, we're facing one of the biggest threats to our own humanity in climate change. And in my personal opinion, the biggest threat to our livelihood is coral bleaching. Now, what coral bleaching is, especially in the Great Barrier Reef, as we saw in 2016, 2017, is when these marine heat waves would bleach, like literally just bleach, the coral found in the ocean. And obviously, when this coral is bleached, it just throws off the what's the word I'm looking for? The cycle, the life cycle of all marine species, and ultimately all species on Earth. According to this one source I have, 1/3 of all marine species has a part of their life cycle in the Great Barrier Reef. And according to CNN, if even 1/4 of all marine species were to be wiped out as a result of coral bleaching, an ecological collapse would most certainly be the result. So this just goes to show, you look at the news nowadays, first of all, climate change does not get talked about a lot in general, but when it is talked about, it's mostly about wildfires, climate change, how it's affecting us on land. I personally believe the biggest threat to the race of humanity is coral bleaching. I personally believe that if even just part of all marine species is wiped out, the human race will definitely be at risk of going extinct, in my personal opinion, because you're just taking a whole group out of our life cycle, and it's going to be very hard for us to replace something as big as fish. And it's more than just like consuming fish. We also have to keep in mind what fish and other marine species do for our Earth. It's mutualistic relationships some of these marine species have with marine marine plant organisms, and really, if we take just even a quarter of these marine species just off the face of the planet, the whole world, not even humans, the whole world will be affected negatively. I personally believe coral bleaching is the biggest, it's no contest, it's the biggest climate change issue, and it's not being talked about enough.
Hello
Thank you
everyone,
for listening.
my name is Tanay Lambe and I will be discussing the possible solutions to coral bleaching. To solve a problem, we must first look at what causes it. Warm waters and pollution factors. Since the increase in temperature of tropical waters is what causes it, we must try to reduce our carbon emissions, which contribute to the warm temperatures. Conservation of water is another simple solution, as this will reduce the amount of wastewater that is going into oceans and rivers. Pollution is a leading cause of bleaching, and hence reduced wastewater will provide for cleaner waters, slowing down the bleaching process. Groundwater, which eventually finds its way into oceans and seas, is polluted due to the percolation of pesticides and insecticides that we use on a daily basis. We must cut down our use of these poisonous chemicals which contribute to coral bleaching. It doesn't matter whether we live far away from the seas, as the groundwater will eventually find its way into the coral's habitat. Diving and snorkeling fans should keep in mind that even touching a coral could cause damage and create stress in the reef, which leads to coral bleaching. Coral bleaching is such a thing that you can't take a big step on it and it's gonna work out. It's something that we need to work on as individuals. We need to make certain small changes to our lifestyles, and that is how we can tackle this solution. Thank you.